Sure. As far as I'm concerned, I said it before, and I think I said it on your show, and I'm saying it again. Nigeria.
Switch to Chrome to load your favorite sites.
Anyway, sure. Go ahead.
But is willing to stand for Nigeria and speak for Nigeria. Aisha Yusufu is a well-known activist, political voice, and one of the most outspoken figures in Nigeria's civic space. Recently, she made headlines again by joining the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, a move that has raised fresh questions about opposition realignment ahead of 2027. In this conversation, we'll talk about the Tinubu presidency, opposition politics, our decision to join the ADC, and what lies ahead as Nigeria inches slowly but surely towards the next general election. This is the Macon Podcast, and let's get into it, everyone. Welcome to the Macon Podcast, Madam Aisha Yusufu.
Sure. As far as I'm concerned, I said it before, and I think I said it on your show, and I'm saying it again. Nigeria does not have a president, so I don't know whose presidency you're discussing. But anyway, sure. Go ahead.
But your party now is going to be contesting against, so you don't believe there is a president. So why are you contesting? There's no vacuum in the House of Villa.
My party. I said I don't know. I'm not here representing my party. I'm not speaking for my party as I am. I'm a member, an active member of the African Democratic Congress. I'm not speaking for the party. I'm speaking for Aisha Yusufu, and I'm telling you that. As Aisha Yusufu, when I come to speak for the party, it's going to be a different thing. And this is why I tell people, it took me a long time, and it took me putting the nation ahead of whatever it is that I think or need to actually say, okay, let me join a political party. Because one of the freedom of being on your own is the capacity to be able to speak the way you want, how you want, and take certain actions the way you want. Like on a normal day, I don't stand. You understand? Since they changed our national anthem to a Tinubu anthem, I don't stand for it. I don't do it as a person. But of course, as a member of ADC, when ADC says something, and I'm sort of like representing the party, I can no longer make that decision not to. So even if I stand, it will not be an Aisha Yusufu standing. It will be the party, an Aisha Yusufu who is representing the party. But as I am here today, I am here as Aisha Yusufu. I'm not here representing the party. So when I come representing the party, you rephrase that question and we'll have a different conversation.
So how would you like to represent your position about the leadership of this country?
I mean, for me, I think in the ways I've seen it, there's no leadership. Nigeria and Nigerians have seen it in so many ways where everything is all over the place, everything is scattered. And that's not the way leadership is supposed to be, right? And I asked you, for example, if you look at him, Mr. Tinubu, who says he's the president of Nigeria.
Who is the president of Nigeria?
Aisha says, who says he's the president of Nigeria. Let's not do that. I know the last time we were doing this back and forth. This is Aisha speaking. When it's your turn to speak, and she will say the way they think. How have Nigerians seen him? How much time has he spent in this whole country that he's supposed to be leading? What are the policies that he has put out in this country that is for the country, and not just, the way people would say from a selfish point of view. Leadership is not just you coming in to take over something. The last time there was an analogy I used for you. I said, if someone comes to my house, steals my vehicle, take it away, and then repaints it and decides it's his own, then I should accept it's his own. It doesn't work like that. No matter how much you say that ownership, there's a certain legitimacy that comes with, when you have the mandate of the people. And it's over 2 years now. I think we're entering the third year. It's that legitimacy is still not there, and you see them struggling a lot to be able to get it. So you can have a, it's just like when you have a coup. Yeah, people have coup. Yeah, we have coup, and they get in, and that's not a legitimate, government, but they're there, and there's nothing you can do, and they make rules, and they do a lot of things, they do decree and all of that. That doesn't mean that you have to accept it, and that's the reason why even in Nigeria for the longest time, people fought the military era. We could also have said, oh, there's no need because there's someone who is sitting on the seat and saying that he's president, whether they're sworn in or not.
You recently joined the ADC. Do you believe the opposition is sufficiently united to defeat the APC as it's currently structured?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it is so. And why do I say so? Because at the end of the day, there's always a common goal that brings people together. And that goal right now is to ensure that Nigeria gets legitimate leadership that is from the mandate that the people have given, and not one that anyone has rigged or stolen or gotten themselves into. So at this moment, there is that unity of purpose towards that goal in ensuring that. Do I think that the people who are coming together, the opposition, they all like each other, they're chummy, and they would all want to have been in the same room? Absolutely not. But when you get to a stage where it is no longer about you, but about the nation or about the goal, then everybody has to be aligned on one issue and face it. And that's what is currently happening. And for me, what I want to see is more Nigerians look at this moment that we are in our country to say it's not about our personal ideology or what we believe in to say, oh, we don't want to do politics because it's dirty or something. But we should look at it from the point of view that at this moment, politics is now mandatory on every Nigerian who has the capacity, who has the competence, who has the character to be in. You don't have to run for office, just being on the party and ensuring that things are done the right way, not the usual way. And sometimes you find out that there are people who are entrenched in the way that they have been doing things for a very long time, and they have justified it and they've accepted it in their own way, that they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. So it needs certain new eyes looking to say, no, this thing that might not be anything to you, it's really important. And when I give you an example, I grew up with people being called Fatty Bobo. Oh, you're so. And I think there was a day I had mentioned or said something like that. And my then, she was 15, 16-year-old daughter, looked at me and she was like, Mom, that's body shaming. You can't do that. So because I have been entrenched and I was called one all my life and it's like normal, I thought it was okay until I had my daughter, whom I'm 28 years older than, pointed it out to me to say, what you're doing is wrong. And from that moment, I've never gone on that. I've realized, okay, this is what body shaming is all about. So it's the same way. You've had politicians who have done this in a similar way, and they feel it's okay. It's getting all of us coming to say, no, this is how we treat this. This is how we get better. And by the time we get there, we're going to have that, a formidable opposition. And that's what the African Democratic Congress is all about.
It's interesting. Okay, you are part of a political party. A bunch of people who, some of them, you have critically criticized.
Absolutely, and I'll still critically criticize. Even me, I am.
But you sit on the same table in the same room for them. That those who see that as hypocritical.
Okay, so for those, what I would say to them at this moment, I have the privilege to be able to stay back and say I won't be part of the whole process, right, or anything. But there are millions of Nigerians who don't have that same privilege. I'm educated. I've gone to good schools. I went to a university when you could still get good, quality education from it, almost at little or no cost. I've been privileged in Nigeria. I've been a businesswoman. I started my business in the year 2000. I think this year will make it 26 years ago. It was a whole lot easier than it is for a lot of young people who are starting now. And I'm at a place that, like I've always said to people, even during the last election, whatever disastrous leadership that Nigeria took, at this stage, I'm privileged enough to be able to survive it. But there are so many people who aren't privileged, who were like the 13-year-old me, 14, 15-year-old me, who was struggling, begging people to give a textbook to be able to read. For me, those people are my main concern. And for those who say it's hypocritical, what I say to them, if I, Aisha Yusufu, had joined, God forbid, I'm even having thinking about it, I've joined APC. That's when you say I'm hypocritical. They're destroying the country and all the things that they do, and you're going to join them to say, no, I have been here in the opposition, opposing, you understand, whatever it is that APC is giving at us. And these same people, some of them that were there, have seen that, what they're doing is wrong, and they've come to where I have been. And people expect that I will leave the room and give it to them. No. Politics, let me tell you, it's not a love affair. It's not where we go there to like each other. I might not like you. I don't want to have anything with you, but we have a common goal, and that common goal is to have a Nigeria that works for everybody. And for me, I'm going to focus on that goal. And if you deviate from that goal, we're going to continue whatever career we have or whatever it is. But for now, it's about Nigeria, and that's what
I see Malami, I see El-Rufai, I see Rotimi Amechi, I see John Oyegun, who was the chairman of the screening committee of the APC presidential election 3 years ago. All of them that you heavily criticized as a bunch of people who are destroying this country. And the same set of people you said you want to fix Nigeria with.
And on my watch that, I'm not going to allow them to destroy the country. So you see,
so you trust them?
I don't trust them 3 years ago. I don't trust myself. This is not about trust. This is ensuring that where I am on the issue of Nigeria, you can't do anyhow. Why you are saying all those people? I am saying an Aisha Yusufu. I am saying X, Z, Y persons who are joining. I'm seeing the two young ladies who came to the party yesterday, party secretariat, and they said because we saw Aisha Yusufu join, we're joining. I'm seeing all those Nigerians who are picking up their cards, who some of them were on the streets making the answers, and they saw their colleagues being killed. I see some of them who have been shouting every day. Now they are saying that this politics, we will no longer leave it to people who think they are the ones who own Nigeria and they will use it, and we are coming to ensure that there are changes. Those are the people that I see. In this thing, when they talk about confirmation bias, you would see what you want to see. I would see what I want to see. I am an active member of the African Democratic Congress, and no member is more member than any member. What you have, if you're a leader or whatever, is extra responsibility. I don't see myself less than an RFI because it's in the party. No, I own my space. And where I am, whether they like it or not, it has to be about what is for the betterment of Nigeria. And that's where I'm focused on. I'm not doing chummy with them. I'm not going to sit down in a room where we are doing, no, it's all about Nigeria. And this we're discussing as party members. And that's the reason why we need more people joining. And I'm glad a lot of people are clamoring to join and they're willing to join. I'll give you an example. When a water is dirty, if you were to put a cup, if we had this thing was transparent and it was a cup of dirty water, if everybody left it without putting in any clean water, it's going to remain dirty. If you drop one single drop of water into it, a clean one, it's going to remain dirty. But guess what? If you continue to drop that one and it goes on, before you know what's happening, that water that used to be dirty will now be clean. And that's what we must do in politics. Sitting on our sanctimonious throne and feeling that, oh, we're the good ones and we're not this thing, that's doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
It looks as if, and to a lot of people, and maybe you want to make some clarification, that your political affiliation or membership for any political party is dependent on your political political ally, your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, whom a lot of people think that you're doing most of the things because you trust in the personality of Peter Obi, that you worked for the Labour Party because of Peter Obi, and you are joining the ABC because of Peter Obi. Is that right?
That's right to an extent. Yes, I did. And this is it. In the last election, like they say, for everything that you do, you learn from it, right? In the last election, I was not a card-carrying member of the party, of any party. Even though a lot of people, even up to today, they still call me a Labour Party member, I wasn't. And I stayed in my own case. I supported him. And this is not the first time that I'm supporting a presidential candidate. I supported a presidential candidate in 2018, and that's Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. For me, it's about getting who is that candidate I know would do as much for Nigeria. And in Mr. Peter Obi, I see someone who has competence, character, capacity, who is compassionate, who has empathy, who also wants to have a legacy. He wants to be in that role where you see a Nelson Mandela, you see a Lee Kuan Yew, someone who wants to take Nigeria to a place where hundreds of years from now, people will remember him. And I also want that, for Nigeria. And definitely, I'm going to support that. The last time I was on the outside, there are certain decisions I can't make because I'm on the outside. And this time I'm thinking, not just Mr. Peter Obi, but definitely a major part of it, absolutely, is due to Mr. Peter Obi, but also getting other people that will be able to run for office. For me, I don't want to choose between the devil and the Red Sea. And if you followed my trajectory all this, I've always said that there's no political party that doesn't have competent candidates. The thing is that the political parties will always give us the candidates who are not competent because those are the ones that they can control and those are the ones that are not going to be for the people. And so if I'm coming in here, my being in here is to ensure that the competent candidates are able to come out as flag bearers so that when we're choosing, it's a matter of you're choosing from amongst the best and looking at, okay, what ideology is this one going for? Is this, pro-life or is this pro-choice like the Americans, would say? That's where I'm looking for. And how do I do that? I can do that from the outside. I can do that from inside the party, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So, like I said, yes, to an extent, for those who say it's my choices are also, based on the fact that Mr. Peter Obi is absolutely there, right?
So, when you say that you would work against any ABC ticket in which Peter Obi is presented as a running mate, are you saying that even if the fair and democratic primary process produces another candidate, you would work against that person?
When we get there, we'll see that.
But in your own view,
when we get there,
it is Peter Obi that you think is most formidable to fight in.
So let me tell you something.
Yeah.
So that's a comment I made this thing ago. I'm like, when we get there, because I don't want to say anything. I love people to see the action. People always be like, oh, when you get into a party, this is. I will tell you, and I'm not mincing any words. Aisha Yusufu, today, and a lot of Nigerians see Mr. Peter Obi is that person who has the most competence, credibility, character, and trustworthiness of the people, that the people trust in to guide the nation to where it needs to be. And I'm not mincing words on that. And I tell you something, as we are, there is no anybody that can outspend APC as it is, because they have the resources of this nation to do whatever it is that they want, and they're already doing whatever it is that they want to do. But guess what? There is one person that can outpassion them, and that's Mr. Peter Obi. And because of him, there are people who are going to come out and put their lives on the line and say there will be no rigging that will be done when they see him on that ticket. There are two things that usually you get when you have someone who's running for office. Usually it's either they're very competent, but unfortunately they don't have the people, they're not as popular, they're not like the people's choice that people are ready to go all out for. Or you have sometimes the people are ready to go all out for them, but on the competency level, they are a bit weak. But for the first time in a long time that I can remember, I started voting in 1993, we have someone who these two qualities are in that person. He has a competence, and he's the one the people are yearning for. And so that's what we should do.
So for you, it's Obi or nothing?
That's not what I'm saying. For me, it's Obi and Obi.
What if Obi is a running mate on the ticket? Would that work?
That's his choice. But I tell you, when we get there, you would see.
But would you work for an Obi as a running mate?
I don't work for Obi.
Because you said it at some point that you have told him that he should not go, and it does look like a lot of obedience actually listen to you. Let me land my question. You have a huge command and control, and you have a huge command and control on the thoughts of a lot of obedience who listen to you and who seem to agree with you, and a lot of them out there believe that it's Obi or nothing.
Let me tell you something. That's a very wrong way of looking at it. Nobody has command and control. Nobody has command and control over obedience. No, and I repeat, nobody.
Not even Mr. Obi himself.
Not Mr. Peter Obi himself. Nobody has. These are people, and that's the uniqueness of the obedient movement. The people who are there, they came in on their own. Nobody went to go and break them. They came in on their own and saw this support. Remember that this whole started from, even though it's called obedient movement, it started from after NSAS, when politicians were saying to those who had been the protesters and everything, if you don't like what happened, change us. So by 2021, you can see they have started mobilizing people to pick their PVCs, we're doing this and everything. And when Mr. Peter Obi came out, they saw that. But as far back as 2021, you can go and check my tweets. The tweets are still there. I had done a tweet where I gave a list of things that PDP needed to do. And one of them, I was like, put Mr. Peter Obi at the forefront and Wake Jr. That was in 2021. By 2022, both of them had already, left the party. And so for him, that support, it's not about, there's someone who is telling them what to do. And these are people who are entrepreneurial. They have their jobs. They are not like the one that you are paying them 10. He's not paying anybody 10,000 every month for them to talk about and to support him. They own their support. And they've repeatedly, most of them have repeatedly said that their support is not transferable. But let me tell you something. In 2014, and those tweets are still, and I'll refer you to that tweet, and I did say that there was no how President Muhammadu Buhari, then General Muhammadu Buhari, was going to win election, especially after what had happened in 2011? Yes, and all of that. I never wanted, to vote for. And even a lot of people, they were against me as of that time. But by February, I changed my mind. Why? Because there was someone who was a running mate. And that's Professor Yemi Osibanjo. And I keep saying it. I don't have Buhari and Obasanjo's regime. I don't have any issue with Buhari, however he did, whether the incompetence and whatever, because I never believed him in the first time. But it was Professor Yemi Osibanjo that I voted for, and a lot of Nigerians. And let me remind you, by December, he was the one that started the campaign. He was on the streets, he was in Molwe, he was meeting people in their houses, he was doing town hall, he was doing common sense revolution. I'm like, wow, this is something new. And we all know Buhari. I was 10 years old when Buhari first became president. December 31st, I turned 10, December 12th, 1983, and December 31st, he became president. And it was him and Idiabo. And we saw how Idiabo. And over the years, even when he was at PTA, you saw he's always someone who delegates. So I'm like, okay, with someone like Professor Osibanjo, we're going to have it. And guess what? And so I voted for that, because I said, like, oh, but you were the one that brought Buhari. No, it was Yemi Osibanjo for me that I was bringing him. And as that I remember, they were saying, Buhari will take care of security, Yemi with the economy. I said, okay, even if you have Yemi, if you delegates to him, that makes it better. And I put my neck out and I voted. And my voice was very loud. And all for them to come. And guess what? After that, I realized that a running mate is actually like a spare tire that you were driving and you now had a flat tire, and you open your boot and the spare tire was at home. You get it?
And sometimes spare tires never get used.
Apart from even getting used. Even when you want to, it's even at home. So you need to go home and break it. And so for me, Aisha Yesufu, I am not, and I will never again, I've learned from that experience, I will never again vote for a running mate or campaign for a running mate. My campaign is for whoever is in charge, the president, whoever has the presidency. No, so I'm not using the running mate candidate as what I'm campaigning for. So I want to see a presidential candidate who I know is the most competent, has the most character, has the most empathy, has the best interest of Nigeria at heart, is not held down by luggages, and at this moment also physically fit, mentally fit to be able to take on the job. I am 52 years old. I have a son who is 26. He's going to be 27 in March. I have my last child. She's 24 already. And I would not want to have someone who is a leader that is not mentally and physically fit enough to run Nigeria and ensure it is kept not just for me, but for also my children and my unborn grandchildren if my children decide they want to have kids.
Okay. So you will work with anybody who emerges as a candidate of the ADC?
I will work with the most competent person who emerges.
As the party then fits?
I will work with the most competent person. For me, it's about the most competent. If I don't see competence, I would to be another story. But then, like I said, I am not whoever is a running mate is not what holds me or makes me work or not work. I'm not here to just be in a party because I want, anyhow, it's not about me getting in or whatever. It's a party that I know is going to ensure that Nigeria gets the best. And that's why I'm inside the party, to be able to ensure that we're all here and we give Nigeria the best that it needs to have.
I'm curious though. I thought that the Obedient movement fizzled out or died after the 2023 election. Is that movement still alive? I didn't see anyone called Obedient presently.
Switch to TurboTax and file your own taxes free in the app if you didn't file with us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do It Yourself by February 28th.
I'm like, did I enter show? Am I?
I'm curious.
No, you're curious. You were just speaking earlier on of who is commanding or not commanding Obedient movement, and then the same you're asking me a question in the next breath whether there's don't worry.
Is it active?
They are selling curiosity in the market. When we go to buy, we'll find out the answer.
Are you an Obedient?
I don't know.
Are you an
I'm a Peter Obi supporter. Go ahead. If that curiosity, we'll buy it, whatever it is.
So you're not an Obedient?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
But you're part of the Obedient movement?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
Do you think that the Obedient or Obedient movement or the support base of Peter Obi, as it was in 2023, still
it's
exists?
stronger. It's stronger than it was.
The numbers have increased?
Oh, Lord have mercy. You don't even want to know. So let me tell you, one of the things that people try to do is to look at one person has said this and say, the moment one person says something, that's the Obedient saying something. If Aisha Yusufu says something, that's the Obedient. That's Aisha saying something. The leader of the Obedient movement is Dr. Tanko Yunusa. And it is when he says something as the leader that it becomes the Obedient movement has said anything. Every other person as an individual they are. Let me come to your question to tell you that. When Peter Obi started and he left PDP, many people saw it as if, that was the biggest political, mistake that he had made and all of that. And they felt, how can you leave, a party that is the biggest opposition party, one-time ruling party, to go and join almost an unknown party that he was not going to do anything. And so for them at that moment, they saw that they knew of his competence, character, capacity. They knew of his capacity to be able to handle Nigeria very well. But they felt the place that he was in, the party he was in, there's no how he's going to pull those votes. And I remember doing an interview and I saying that, look, there are a lot of people who were supporting because people are not following this thing from the NSAS and the pain that a lot of Nigerians had carried. And young Nigerians who hitherto had never focused on governance because some of them, they didn't see military the way we saw, they didn't see how brutal government can be, and they realized how brutal it can be, and they were ready to make that choice. So people didn't recognize that. And so a lot of them, and I tell people that those were the rational ones. I know rationality is always about incrementalism. Let's do it small, we get there. It is those innovators are always the ones who are irrational. They're like, we know this can happen, and they give their all. For those of us who were supporting Peter Obi, the bigger movement, for us it was about this can be done, and we're ready to put our energy in, and they did. But guess what? Remember also, Mr. Peter Obi, people were saying that, oh, there are only 4 people tweeting in a room, and he can't get 100,000 votes. There are people who said they will leave politics if he even wins a state and stuff like that. And they were proven wrong. He won the 2023 election, no matter what it is that the official figures are. You've seen a lot of people who have come to confess with their own mouth what they did. But that's that they say, is it water by the bridge or under the bridge or whatever the expression is. We've moved on from there. Right now, those people who knew his competence and everything, that then they felt, oh, they might be wasting their vote because he was in a smaller party, have come to see the phenomenal outing that he had. And so a lot of them are now on board. And for me, the beautiful thing about the obedient movement is how there are so many of them who you wouldn't see them coming out to tell you, oh, I'm obedient, I'm not obedient. For them, it's not the title. They don't do titles. They are all out there in their millions all over the country just waiting. And I'll tell you something. I'm going to check the video immediately after the election of former Governor Dave Omoye. I think that's former Governor of Omoye State, if I'm not mistaken. You will see in that video where he said he didn't know that even in his family, there were a lot of obedience. And so what they did was that they voted for Mr. Peter Obi for the presidency, and then for the other ones, of course, they voted in their choices his party. So there are a lot, and even I think the former governor of Edo State, give me his name again. No, the immediate past
Godwin Obaseki.
Oh yes, Governor Godwin Obaseki also said the same thing. His family, there are a lot of obedience. That's how it is. Literally all over the country they are there. So right now you see more of them. They're just waiting. And one of the things I would say to you is how phenomenal, especially these young people, especially the obedient, they do their things. Where there's this. It's not that a lot of people say it's leaderless, it's not leaderless. There's this horizontal kind of leadership. We're used to the vertical kind of leadership, like command and control. No, they're all leaders. And so everybody, they're doing their own things. And you've seen from the coalition when Mr. Peter Obi, they all came out, he was there. You see the momentum. And you can also see the increased momentum in terms of December 31st, when he also, formally called his people, obedience, and the Southeast and supporters and say, let's go in there. You see that happening. So it's not that it's bigger than it used to be. But most times, and the beautiful thing about it is, you might say it's not in your face, but it's there, and it's throbbing.
You recently tweeted that defeating President Tinubu in 2027 will be easier than in 2023. What specific changes or development has happened between now and then? And empirically, what are the facts to show that Tinubu had an 8 million vote recorded and announced for him against Peter Obi, who had a 6 million vote, will be able, if he emerges as the candidate of the ADC, will be able to defeat. And considering that the APC now have 29 governors in the kitty, controlling state structure in 29 places, and you think that you can be able to easily defeat that kind of structure?
Hey, did you know that SMUD is now paying Sacramento homeowners thousands of dollars upfront to put a backup battery?
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing, I need you to calm down, take a deep breath, and listen. So when you said empirical evidence, which after when I'm coming out, I would have brought out the research
calculator,
stats. But anyway, in spite of that, let me go ahead and give you some. Just to say that I think in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, PDP was controlling as much as 20, maybe 7 or such numbers. Not sure the figure. And that's why I say if you have told me, but you pull out the figure when you're doing the testing. They were controlling as much, governor. It didn't mean that PDP was not defeated at the end of the day. That's number one. On this issue of governors that people talk about, I think are they up to 30 now that they're controlling? It's a show of strength that it's not there. So because, of course, Tinubu knows he has lost the people, so he's doing everything possible for him to be able to show, to have a perception of strength that is not available. And that's why you see him doing everything he can to bring in the governors. So just like you saw with the PDP in Zamfara, I think it was, where you had the governor who decided that he was going to join the ruling party, and what ended up happening? He ended up losing. I'm just taking So that, I think that was, what's his name again? Zamfara, the current Minister of Defense State. Yeah. I'm a bit poor with names. So Bello Matawalle. He left the party, where that he had won in and joined the ruling party, and he ended up being defeated. That is going to happen to a lot of governors. Now also, if you look at the structure of APC, where you now have a lot of these governors have come in, and some of the reports are coming out that some of them were promised automatic tickets when they come in and stuff, and now we're also hearing some reports that they say, oh no, guess what? In this last election, there were people who had wanted to run or had run within that party, and they lost. Let me take Kanu as an example. There was a gubernatorial candidate of APC gubernatorial candidate in Kanu, and then now that same person, by the time you go into next election, you're telling that person that, oh, you can't run just because this governor has come, has joined. And then what message is that going to send? And you know the way the political machinery works. For some states, they have what they call, is it like a region? They've I'm looking for the word now, where it is certain senatorial zone that we produce this and produce that. If it passes your turn, you miss it, you're going to stay the next maybe 8 years before you get it. And for some people, they know time is not on their side. There's going to be a huge fight, just watch it and say that Aisha Yusufu told you. There's going to be an impulsion in APC. By the time the fighting starts, as we go on, that's enough to take care of them. That's one. Let's come back to the other issues for me. If you look at, I look at Lagos State. For me, I'm the kind of person that I always look at things and put them, look at the repercussion of every action that it's done and what the implication both now and later. In Lagos State, there was something quite, maybe people might not think it's really important, but for me, I think it's something that is very instrumental. When Obasa, the Speaker of the House, Obasa was removed, and then by overwhelming majority, and the other lady, I think Mojisola, I'm sorry, I may be poor with names, was now installed. Miranda, yes. And the whole back and forth that went through with it, and where, according to reports, Tinubu was not happy with that, whether his wife was not happy. And there was a meeting that they did, they all came to Abuja, including the governor, deputy governor. There's another, is it APC stakeholder? I can't remember what they call them now, in that same Lagos, who came in. And at the end of the day, they were forced to return Obasa. In doing that, I can tell you, there are people who are not happy. Because I remember that meeting, they said, Tinubu is not God. There was one who had said, Tinubu is not God. He cannot come and tell us what we are going to do in this. They've already made the decision. They've removed Obasa. They've installed this woman. You know all of that. But at the end of the day, that's reversed. What then that happens is that there are people who would now be unhappy because they were sort of like, I'm looking for the word now, shown in a light that is not good. You understand? When you are just it's not demoralized, it's a particular word I'm looking for, but I can't get it. But they were slighted. Let me use that word. They were slighted. And so there will be that anger that is waiting for as you go into 2027. Not all of that. Keep that in mind. I'm building up something. Another thing also, a lot of people who were his allies for the 2023 election are no longer his allies. There are some of them who are very angry and very bitter at the way and manner in which they were treated. And some of them have vowed they will do everything. They know the secrets. And some of them have also revealed how they did the rigging. They know the in and out. So when you're going into a race where the people who you had worked with everything, you have now in a way made them angry at you, it becomes more difficult. That's another one. The whole hula baloo happening in River State, that can also be another thing. And of course, Wiki being Wiki, anything can happen. These are just on the part of his political allies and structure. Let me come back to the issue of generality of Nigerians. There were some who, in all honesty to them, they believed he had the capacity to do the things that they felt he was going to do. One of the things you will agree with is that there was something that Tinubu enjoyed, which was the lot of reforms that the Obasanjo administration were doing. Lagos was a beneficiary of those reforms. And whether you like it or not, it also added to all that outlook of the way Lagos went. Even though you could see Fashola did amazingly, well after. So there were some people who felt that, he had done it before. He has, what did they think they used to call it? He can organize team, masters that we have not seen, the strategy is not strategizing, organized team and everything. But by him coming in and all of those things that we see in Nigeria now, where there's no strategy anywhere, everything has fallen and things have become far worse. I mean, if anybody had told me that anyone can be worse than the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari, I would have said it's a lie. But I mean, Buhari is looking like a hero right now, based on the things that are on ground.
You think that this government is a failure?
I don't think so. I say so.
But
it's
what?
a failure. The illegitimate government that we have that rigged itself into office, that shouldn't have been into office, is an abysmal failure. The kind of failure, unprecedented, that has never been seen in Nigeria. So let me land on where I'm going. You asked me for empirical evidence, and I'm just starting. And so the fact that they have failed so much, and a very vivid example to the common man is someone on Twitter who saw a receipt that he had used to buy certain things in 2020. Remember in 2020, people were crying how bad things were because things had become very expensive compared to 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari had taken over. Things were very bad. And that 2020, someone saw a receipt of that, and I think he did that shopping in 2025, December or January 26, I'm not sure now. He went to similar, he bought the same thing, where in 2020 he spent about 20-something thousand, in 2025 or 2026 he spent about 140-something thousand. That tells you everything. There is nothing you're going to say to the person on the street that can no longer feed himself. There's no propaganda. You can do propaganda before election, but in governance you can't do propaganda because people are feeling it. And so the people who now are who had supported him, a lot of them are no longer willing to support him. A lot of them have said it's not about tribe. It's not about Milokon or whatever it is. That it doesn't matter what tribe you are, whether you're the same street with someone who puts himself in there and takes over your resources and using it. If it's not using it well, it's going to affect you. So there are a lot of this, and these are the empirical evidence that are on ground. And so those people now have withdrawn their support. And then you now also have the northern part of Nigeria. And I'll tell you, the northern part of Nigeria was the part, especially the northwest, was the part that gave Tinubu the critical number he needed to rig election. To be able to rig election, you have to have a critical number. And I'll tell you, if you don't have a critical number, the only rigging you can do is to reduce the margin and the accumulation, like what happened in places like Lagos State, Plateau State, and all of that, where there was rigging, but it was not rigging to win, it was rigging to reduce the margin. So having provided that critical number that led to the rigging that got him, sworn in and all of that, and the way he has treated that same region, there is an anger, and they're saying we're going to meet at the ballot Forget whether he's picking up governors left, right, and center, inducing them to come over. Even those governors know that they do not have the people, the support of the people. So it's free for all. Okay, some people, I don't know, it's allegations. Some people are saying that, oh, these governors are being paid huge amount of money for them to come. I don't know how factual that is. If that it in its own is factual, everybody's going there to pick whatever it is that they can pick, knowing fully well they don't even have the support of the people. And there are so many other things in today's, and even with the insecurity that you have, the fact that insecurity has sort of like worsened. People were speaking all these years. Tinubu couldn't be bothered. I took the America designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern for him to even bother and be interested in all the security machinations. And you see where all of that is going. And I think that's it. Yeah.
So there is no chance in the world for President Tinubu and the APC to win 2027 election?
There is no chance in the world. And because for me, I always say, inshallah, as a Muslim, anything in the future, you put inshallah. There's no chance in the world, inshallah, for the former governor of Lagos State, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to win the 2027 election.
What if he wins?
If you're turning 65 or beyond, you're going to want to watch this. There are a lot of people today that are Medicare eligible that are enrolled.
What if he wins? Then he'll be recognized as a winner. If he wins, I don't see that happening. So let me tell you something. For me, whatever choices, I respect the choices of the people. If the people decide they're going to do a certain choice, fine. But rigging is where I put a stop at it. And I say a lot of people say, Aisha, why? I say, I don't care. 2023, if genuinely he had won, he would have been the president. Whether we like it or not, whether he's doing this or not, people voted for him. And see what it is. But winning and rigging are two different things. If I tell you, if he's sure, because now I've been speaking all this English, if he's sure for former governor of Lagos, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, say he will fit win election, ensure free, fair, credible election. Remove all that mago, just ensure free, fair, credible election, and let the results show for themselves. That's it. Why are they afraid of a free, fair?
Are they afraid?
They are. They're afraid of it. They stand against it. They do everything for it not to happen. Just allow the choices of the people matter. As they're voting, put out the result. Let's have a show. Even if it's today, let's do it today. Call the people out. Let them vote. Put out the screens and everything. Let all of us in Nigeria sit outside. We're saying the number. South Africa, which country was doing it? You see the numbers coming in, and let the voting be. And whoever it is that gets it, let it be. So the thing is, you see the people who are afraid, you see the people who constantly do not want for this free, fair, credible election to happen. That's where the problem is. It's not about who wins at the end of the day. It's about where the people's mandate given as it is. We're enabling environment for people to vote peacefully without fear for their lives. 2023, you saw how people were fearing for their lives. People who were killed in the process of voting. People who the process of voting. People who were denied from voting. We saw what happened in Lagos gubernatorial election. That is not election. Let us not be focused on, it's not about who is there. It's about this country. We all will die. And Nigeria, by the grace of God, is still going to be here, hopefully for the next 1,000 years. What are we doing to ensure that it gets the best that it can get?
So you look at what is going on, and I see your tweet, was it yesterday or this morning? You were apologizing to Yemi Adamalekun, and there are those who have started criticizing the ADC.
Absolutely.
That this party is insincere. How would you...
I haven't seen insincere in what sense?
Yeah, how do you put on your committee to put up a policy without consulting them, and you publish their names without and you said that it's quite unfair for them for their names to be there, and you apologize on behalf of the party? How can Nigerians trust that set of structure or organization that does such a thing?
By the fact that we are willing to own up to our mistakes and take responsibility and do better. Like I said, I saw Yemi's tweet, which of course she had every right to. Nobody's name should be put out without that person, first of all, a call to that person and that person's consent. Got it. First of all, reach out to the person and you get their consent that they're willing to be on that board, no matter how eager we are to get to work on building Nigeria. And for me, because I am an active member, I'm a member, and I felt on behalf of my party, I apologize to her and every other person who had seen their names in there. When you say the party being criticized, absolutely, ADC will be criticized, I will be criticized, and we must hold ourselves to higher standards than we hold others, and that's what we're doing there. And by me being there, this is me saying, yes, this is what happens. Mistakes are made, no doubt about it, but there's nowhere where you make mistakes, you're doubling down on mistake. That should never have happened in the first place. And that's the reason why we're asking more people. Like I did say to you earlier, if you remember at the beginning of this conversation, I said sometimes we're used to doing things and we think it is okay. And that's why I gave you the story of my daughter correcting me when I talked about fatty body, that's body shaming. Because I grew up, that was normal. And so you have a group of people sometimes who are used to that the way it is. I mean, for a lot, it's an honor to just be on the list and for your name to be chosen. But that's not the way. From a process, due diligence has to be done, and the right process, followed in everything that. And so that's why some of us are in here. And I'm calling on more to come into the party, and so that you know that anything that you see, that's we want to build a new Nigeria and get it on there.
These are the people who say they want to change Nigeria. They've not even started anything. They're already goofing. And
goofing is part of life,
yeah, everybody and they're already making those kind of funny errors of publishing people without due diligence. Is that how you are going to govern?
And that is why that is why there's an active ADC member who is responsibility and saying to you, and saying, oh, we've seen that. We're apologizing for that. And we definitely will do better and we go back. Making mistakes, I've always said, and if you go to my old tweets, you will see that it's not, I think from 2015, I even said that it's something that it's not. But not learning from your mistake is something that will be inexcusable. And so this has done, we've taken responsibility, and definitely as we go forward, we will let that. That is not acceptable in any way whatsoever. And I'm repeating it as Aisha Yusufu, who happens to be an active member of the African Democratic Congress, that it is not acceptable for anybody's name to be put out without getting that person's consent and acceptance for whatever role it is. Everybody needed to be called. I think about 15 names or thereabout. Everybody there needed to be called, a letter sent to them, and then their written acknowledgement or acceptance gotten from them before you go. And there are a lot of people who want to do that. I know what is so ironic. One of the names that is there had actually reached out to me, I think as far back as 2 weeks ago, to say, sending in a document to say, in whatever capacity I can serve on ADC.
Let me show you something that makes me furious every time I see it. This is a real tax return from someone making $284,972 per year in a...
I will. And that's not, it's not Yemi Adama looking, by the way, for people, I don't want any speculation. She's not the one. The one of the names that the person had reached out to me. So you see, all that needed is just, to get the process. Because for anything that we do, I'm going to use a quote now that Mr. Peter Obi said after, I think was it after the 2023 election, which is so apt, that for you to be called excellency, the process that brings you must be excellent. So whatever we are doing, the process must always be excellent, and we'll work on that. And this is the beauty of having more people coming into the party, the African Democratic Congress. By the time we're coming with our ideas, and we say, hey, no, the old way of doing things, that's not the way. There are some who, for them, that's the best way. Just put the we are happy. Some people are already happy, jumping, showing the newspaper and saying that no, but that's not the way it's done. And there's a generation that is saying no, that's not it is. And so when you come in, you get it done. We cannot get the best by staying outside. That's one thing I've realized, and that's why I'm in the African Democratic Congress. So let others come in, and we continue to get together.
I'd like to know, you have established in this interview that you're not concerned about the set of people that have congregated in the ADC as much as you're concerned about the goal and the agenda of Nigeria. Absolutely. And that is what is pushing you. But what then is the philosophy and the ideology that is bringing everyone into the ADC? What does the ADC stand for? How can Nigerians identify how ADC hopes to govern Nigeria? How do we be able to pinpoint the philosophy and the principles that ADC stands for?
So looking at it is looking at it as a platform that there be equitable development, a development that carries everyone along, unity, a nation that is united, a country that has grown after over 60 years, that should be able to go from being a country to being a nation where we see a common goal that benefits everyone and not just a few. These are a few of the things that ADC is coming out for, and that's why we're all here to build it. Like I said to someone in a political party, I think in all the interviews I had, it's about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if the good don't enter, then they don't have no reason saying that, oh, the bad and the ugly have done something. It's all about numbers. If the good are more, the party will be good. If the bad are more, the party will be bad. If the ugly are more, the ugly will be good. I'm not saying that anybody is good, bad, or ugly, but just using that analogy to say it depends. It's all about numbers. And when you come in, you are able to sway. It's just like Nigeria today. I can tell you that if Nigeria sees good leadership from the top, is going to go down where people will do the right thing that they're supposed to do. And so that is what this is all about. Instead of focusing on, oh, this person, that few numbers, they are few numbers. Even let's say even the people that participate in the political system or have been in leadership in Nigeria, would be at party level, at state level, local government level, national level, and all of that. If you put them together, I don't think they're up to 1 million. If you put them together today, they are not up to 1 million. Or let's say max, let's even say there are 10 million people who have done that. Are you saying that the remaining over 200 million people, or let's say maybe there are 50, or maybe let's say 100 million people counting out, those are less than 18, cannot come and say we want what is good for Nigeria and overwhelm this whole people who have not given Nigeria the best? It can be done. And so for me, that's where it is. At this moment, let me tell you, Sheung, I see a lot of Nigerians who say that politics is dirty, that they don't want to be a part of politics. Sometimes people proudly say, oh, I'm not a politician, I don't do politics. That's a fallacy. By not doing politics, we've allowed ourselves to be governed by the worst. And I think it was Pluto that said that's what's happening in Nigeria. At this moment that we are in, it is no longer an option. It is a necessity for every Nigerian to participate in politics, be it what it is. And for me, it's about political activism. And I've always been saying, I think as far back as maybe 2019 or there, that we have political activism. It's either one, you're running for office because you have the capacity to do that, or you are campaigning for those running for office, or you are helping them raise money. And then the fourth one of that, for the political activism for me, is holding the people who are voted into office accountable. And for me, I love what happened, and I love the way that Yemi Adamaleku went on at ADC. I would do the same. How dare you put my name out there when you've not sought for my consent, and I'm not giving an acceptance that I'm going to be part of it. You just don't go and put people. That's what being an active citizen is all about. That's what it means, holding, accountable. And definitely, our duty as citizens is to always hold those who are in authority accountable, and that's what Nigerians must do. So at this stage, every one of us, we must look at it as participating in politics has become not just necessity but also mandatory. Then when we have the critical number that can make the right decision for all of us, afford to say we'll no longer participate in politics. We can then go home and relax and be doing our other things, knowing fully well that there's a critical number that will take care of the affairs of the nation.
Watch what nuts do to our body. A walnut is really good for you. It's loaded with omega-3.
So we do not know as of now what political ideology leaning that the ADC will be standing on. But I'd love to know, and you're a Muslim, I see that you're a devout one. However, there are a lot of us who don't believe that Nigeria's politics or governance should be run on the premise of faith or ethnicity. But those are very sensitive cleavages, if we're not careful, that can break and further divide us as a people. So it's important for politicians to take cognizance of those cleavages and be able to mend it in such a way that it will help the people rather than divide them. As a Muslim, are you comfortable with a Muslim ticket?
For me, everything is about equity and justice, and Islam is about equity and justice. As far back as 2022, I have said that Nigeria is a secular state, and it needs to remain a secular state. And our faith, and also we need to have a place where the faith that we do, we're allowed to practice it as it is. Everybody has a right to that. And in Nigeria, we just don't have, it's not just Muslims, Islam, Christianity, they're all the religion, the traditional religion. Everyone has a right to practice their own religion in their way. When it comes to governance, it is not about your religion or not. It is about what you bring in. But then, the way Nigeria has been structured, and the way you've seen where there's sort of like, how do I put it now? Injustice being meted at in a way, and the balancing that ought to happen. It's part of the reasons why this has become a major issue. And as of Nigeria of the day, everybody should take cognizance of that. In 1993, there was a Muslim ticket. Nobody bothered about it. Nigeria was not as polarized as it is today. Unfortunately for us, we have had unfortunate leaders who came into office, charlatans, who decided instead of working and giving development for them to be able to get support, they rather went the religious and the ethnicity route to divide the people and cause this hatred amongst the people. And so that has been, a major issue that has led to where we are now today, that even a consideration of that is not, it's not a big problem. So as of today, the Nigeria of today that we have, a Muslim ticket, a Christian ticket, it's not the way to go. And if I also, my party is coming out with a Muslim ticket or a Christian ticket, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to it. But let me tell you something, even knowing for that, for me, and I'll give you an example, because one must stand with truth, equity, and justice, even if it's against you. I'm a Muslim from the southern part of Nigeria. I'm a minority. In short, from where I am a minority amongst the minority. And if I, Aisha Yusufu, one day decides to run for president, it means I have to take my running mate from the north. And if I say I want to take from the north, although some people, and I say, I'm going, let me look for who has more population, although that is debatable. Now, a lot of people have debated it. I'll say I'm going to carry a Muslim. Because would that fly for me? And then if I say, okay, let me take a Christian, for some, although some have said, I've been corrected a number of times that it's not, there's no Christian minority in the north, like it's almost the same thing. But, the numbers, the way it will look like. But that would not say because of me, then I will not stand for what is right. At this moment in Nigeria, doing same religion ticket is a no-no and should never be entertained in any way whatsoever. But let me just also add something. I had someone who said to me the other day, as a Muslim, I don't know about devout Muslim, I just try to do the little things that I can do, the ones I can do. I wear hijab because for me that's what my religion recommends for me, and I accept it and I do it. And I also do not shake men or hug men who are not certain, category, like my husband, my father.
Except your husband.
Yeah, my husband, my
Your
father, my brother, not even my cousin.
Son.
Yes, my son-in-law, if I have one.
And not even your friend like me.
No, not that's why have you forgotten we were doing e-hugs when I came in,
That I will not forgive you for.
So I always apologize to people. I say it's not that I'm trying. It's my religious. But actually, there are some people who have said. Then some other people who are Muslims, they don't care. They shake. I say, well, everybody do the part that I'm not saying I'm perfect. I just do the little part that I can. And someone said to me, now that you're in the party, you cannot say you're not shaking men. I know, ironically, this kind of logo of our party is actually handshake. So I'm like, okay, for the one I'll do like this. For the woman, I can do like this. I'll do like this.
So you shake a woman?
Yeah, I shake women.
You hug women?
I hug women. I'm actually a hugger. I hug with my heart. I love to hug. I know, but unfortunately, I don't do that with men. Although it's almost like, somebody's bringing, especially when it's an elderly person, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm bending that to say I'm sorry for religious reasons. I can't, I can't do that. And someone was saying to me, now that you're in the party, you have to do that, you have to forget that you have to be shaking people. I'm like, no, I'm not going to change of myself because I also want to be respected. And I hope that, and I see, the thing I love also about ADC, it's how inclusion.
Get tax expertise without hidden fees.
It's been, something that's really talked about, something that's welcome. And you see even with the youth leader, because they always complain that when you're doing youth leader, it's always man. So they're not having the youth leader, you have a female youth leader, you have a male youth leader. And so the LDC wants to include everyone, that even if you're hijab wearing, even if you don't hug, you don't shake, you can also be part of this party, and you don't have to, go on to say you have to shake people.
I'd like us to anchor on this note. There is a notion in the North, Peter Obi cannot command significant votes.
And they say, there's somebody used to put it in picture. I can't remember. Men and let them be dreaming. That's a fallacy. That's what they want to believe. It's not like that at all. And if you see some of the clips on the road, so they say action speaks louder than words, right? And the way you make people feel, it's a whole lot more than even the words that you gave out. And Mr. Peter Obi has been able to do that. And a lot of, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a shift that is happening in the core north where there are a lot of young people who are angry. Remember, we have social media. Social media has democratized media, and a lot of young Nigerians from the north, from the core north. I was born and brought up in the core north, and I grew up in the core north. And I grew up in the ghetto of the north. The north that I know, a lot of the northerners who are elite, they don't know that north because they.
The
Telakawas. I grew up among the Telakawas. I was one of the Telakawas. Like I said to people, hi, what Kanu? Hausa Kamari Jakar Kanu. I am a northerner. I speak like a northerner. I speak like a Hausa. I was born and brought up there. I left there, I think at the age of 25 or 26 after my marriage, and I had my son. That was when I left Kano primary, secondary, university, all in Kano. I did a bit of outside places I came out, so I know what I'm talking about. And you see a situation whereby a lot of them have access to social media. A lot of them are getting to know that enlightenment. Even though in terms of education, there are some leaders have deliberately kept people that not to get education, but there's a social media that is educating, the people. And so a good number of them see what is out there, and now they are angry, especially with the Muslim ticket. The Muslim ticket, and I don't know if you see a lot of Malams who are now talking about it, against it. The same people who were talking about it. I was told that I wasn't a Muslim because I said I was not supporting a Muslim ticket, because I said that's injustice. Islam does not support injustice. Islam is always about what is just in every way whatsoever. You can't have the same people, 50 of different things, and you say you're going to choose one side of it. And so there are more Malams who are speaking against the Muslim ticket. A lot of young people are saying that they were deceived and not again. During the end bad governance protest, there was a situation whereby some Malams in the mosque during Friday were almost lynched when they started talking about that that people should not go and protest. So there's a silent revolution that is building up. And I can tell you something. One thing that people don't really understand, in the north, the people have more control over the leaders, even though it doesn't look that way, than the other way around. Let me explain to you. So because they know that if there's a revolution to ever happen in this country, real revolution, everybody say, you'll be shooting people, some are falling and people are stepping over and going, it will be in the corner. It will be in that color. And so the leaders are very aware of that. That's why in everything that they do, they always tilt to what is the thinking of the people, because they know if they break out. The main thing is that Islam being used as respect your elder, respect your parents being done. And for the first time, I could see where they're saying they're going to lynch a mallet on Friday morning. They had to take some of those malams away. That tells you a lot. There's a shift. And they're saying now that they were deceived before, they're not going to agree. And those whole talk about saying, Mr. Peter Obi is an Igbo man, is this, they're saying no, they're not listening to that anymore. They have seen that confidence, they have seen the compassion, they have seen the way he speaks, they have seen the way he has taken on issues, they have seen the way that he has been out there right from day one. I can tell you that Mr. Peter Obi, I think he just took literally less than 96 hours rest from the announcement of the 2023 election to when he started on doing what he's doing. Between that time and when he did the press conference, and from there he has continued all over the country, listening, meeting with people, getting to see people. And leadership is not being standoffish. Leadership is about you being with your people seeing you, your people being able, to.
You didn't know how good Riverside was for podcasting, but I got you. Riverside is your stop shop for creating your podcast.
To have conversations with you and bring your problems to you. I remember there was a meeting that we had with some people, with some leaders from the northern part of Nigeria, and one of them was talking about I think was it Adama or something, about their environment, how snakes. They have their own epidemics of snakes. Snakes bite. People can't afford it. The anti-venom to take care of snake bites and all of that. He has all of this conversation. And Mr. Peter Obi is one person, and which even though a lot of people, the propaganda machines that were used against him were so loud, but how loud can it be when the reality is really hitting at you? And so they have seen where Peter Obi will tell you, every state in Nigeria, he will tell you this is what can come out of this state, and especially with the northern part of the country. And even in last election, conversation was that on every part, how it can be used to be built. And he kept saying that the oil is not where Nigerians' riches are, it's in the vast land of the north, and how to help develop it. And somehow the words have trickled in and people are hearing, and the propaganda machine has failed, because you can't do propaganda when people are feeling hunger.
Thank you so much. But I'd like you to look into the camera and talk to those who feel they didn't get the kind of result they were hoping to get in 2023. So they don't care. What do you tell these people as to the future of this country and the 2027 election? Those who have given up and said, the election didn't go my way, I voted in this pattern, but it never went my way. What would you be telling them, the young people of this country?
For the young people of this country and also the elderly, for everyone, I just want to remind us of one saying, that yesterday died last night, and that we cannot carry the momentum of the past into the present. Otherwise, it's going to affect our future. I know all of us were pained at what happened in 2023. There are people who were in their 70s and that was their first time of voting, and I feel your pain. We did everything that we could have done. We trusted the system. We stayed on. And yet, the election was rigged. It's painful. But guess what? The result, at the end of the day, is not in our control. The effort is in our control. And when we put in the effort in 2023, you saw we got a win. Even when they said we wouldn't. And everybody knows we got that win. So as we go into 2027, let us not also focus on the result. Let's focus on our effort for now. And if you give up and say you're not going to take part in the 2027 election, what would have been done? What would happen is that you would have self-defeat yourself. We will all self-defeat ourselves. And the people who rigged before will not have no need to rig. And then they will be able to legitimately say that they won the election. Because if we stay away from the election, their people, no matter how few they are going to come out and they're going to vote. And you know the way election is in Nigeria. It's never about a critical number. It's about whatever. It's the first past the post. And whatever number it is, and it is won. And that's it. So what I'm going to say to you is I think about Nigeria. And right now I'm speaking directly to the young people. How old are you? And how long do you want to live in Nigeria? If you're 20 now and you want to live to say 90 years, you have another 70 years. We don't want Nigeria to be dealing with you or you always on the run looking for where to go to. If you're 30, the same way, you have 60 more years to go. Do the maths. And so therefore, no matter the anger you felt at what happened in 2023, this is the time to bring that anger and put it together and say never again. Never again will our votes be rigged. Never again will the mandate of the people not matter. Never again will we sit down for a few to do whatever it is that they want to. This time, we're going to put in the effort. We're going to ensure that we have a win. We're going to ensure that when we vote, we stand there and we ensure that our votes are counted. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, that when we go onto that ballot, the election ground and the polling unit and we vote and we put our thumbprint, we must stay and ensure that our votes are counted for our candidate. Otherwise, it will just be paper painting that we do. And I will round up by saying this to you. They rigged us in 2023. Shame on them. If they rig us again in 2027, it will be shame on us. Thank you.
Madam Aisha Yusufu, thanks so much indeed for your time on the Micron podcast.
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me.
I appreciate it. Well, that's our conversation with me.
Greetings, everyone. Good morning to you. Good morning. Una well done. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Are you guys aware that APC is forcefully registering people all over? There's one going on in Imo State, Enugu State. They are forcefully making civil servants like teachers to fill in forms to register with APC. How are you people going to match this? That is the question I have. How do you guys plan to match this? Because they're already rigging it. They are collecting people's name details forcefully. Look at it. See examples. This is all Progressive Party. Owerri Municipal Chapter. That they collect people information forcefully. For one state, they say if you don't fill out the forms, you're not going to get paid. I don't know if it's in Enugu State. This is what is happening. So they are collecting people's they are collecting people's PVCs ahead of the election. They have a target. Okay. Let me go through the comment section of yeah. Look at it. Even in Enugu government is threatening their teachers to fill in APC e-registration forms with their NIN and that of their family members or risk losing their jobs. Okay? This is what is happening. This one is Owerri. Enugu, I knew about. That one I see. Let's quickly go. I want us to, let me see if I can find that Enugu one. Hey, this is happening at every local level. So don't think that it's just only one. It's happening in every local level. Do you understand? They need the numbers to rig election. So they are forcing people. They are forcing them to accept. Make I go back here. May I just start from somewhere. There's a lot going on. Let me just do the one I can do for today. Okay. Meanwhile, Alex Babir, they rebuild houses for Yewata. Your government, they travel, they spend money, nyafun. American, they build houses. He don't dare the government now. He say if una like, make una come destroy the houses when I don't build for these people to come back to their homes. If una like, make una come do am. Let's listen to this.
Nigerian Senate is fighting Trump. Something very strange just happened in Nigeria. You know, for the past weeks, all you had that was silence. There was no outrage, no emergency session from the Senate, no usual Senate gra, no fire, no Natasha versus Akpabio. This one's slept with that. All of that you don't hear. Then suddenly, the Nigerian Senate finds its voice. Suddenly, he found his voice. Not against insecurity, not against kidnapping this past week, but against President Donald Trump. Nigerian Senate found his voice against President Donald Trump, kind of in support of the Gumis of Nigeria. They are now standing with the Gumis. The question is simple. Why now? Why now? The answer is here on the Ofion Okwa Show on YouTube. Let me set the scene as usual for you. On Christmas Day, Sokoto was bombed, the head of the caliphate. Sokoto is not a city. We keep emphasizing. Most Nigerians don't know this. That Sokoto is the spiritual headquarters of the Nigerian caliphate, which runs 12 states with Sharia, the seat of the Sultan. And for weeks, the Senate said nothing. Nothing. The Ofion Okwa Show on YouTube called it out. It accused top Nigerian officials, including the ever-talkative President Godswill Akpabio, of radio silence. We said, Akpabio, where are you? Say something. Silence where outrage was expected. Silence where courage was required. What is this turning point? You wonder, when did they suddenly find their voice? Turkey. Turkey. Gumi's Turkey. Turkey happened. Then something changed. President Tinubu boarded the plane for Turkey. Let's be straight. Gumi and Northern Sharia supporters in protest against Trump and the US insist that Tinubu leave America an ally with Muslim Turkey. Not with America. That is the blunt fact. So Tinubu looking frail and comical in an oversized coat. Trips and falls, he fall in Ankara, man. He had to use the Turkish President Erdogan as a walking stick and prop throughout the public ceremonies. This was a disgrace. Tinubu, look, Tinubu is a human being. He's obviously in pain. He's in distress. The man looks sick. Why dispatch him to Ankara? Why? A trip heavily associated with Sheikh Gumi's ideological ecosystem, whether directly or indirectly, and suddenly, Nigerian northern senators wake up. They suddenly wake up from silence. Emergency outrage, probe resolutions, secret committee, they don't not talk about this, let's talk about it in committee. Anger at America was open. Anger at Trump was rife in the Nigerian Senate these past few days. Not at Nigeria's failures, no. Not at Islamic terrorists, ISIS. Not at Christian genocide. Not at Senate silence. Not at the fact that Nigeria is a damaged country today, but at Trump, at American Christians and congressmen who demanded the end to ISIS killings in northern Nigeria. That's all they demanded. They wanted nothing else from Nigeria. Just stop killing Christians. Why Akpabio? Then Akpabio suddenly shuts down debate. Let's be careful. Let's be honest about something Nigerians pretend not to see. Akpabio initially shut down this debate. Initially. His words, I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't want to fight with Trump. He's afraid of Trump. We've said this before, but that wasn't statesmanship. That was fear. Fear of the Magnitsky Act, which could catch Akpabio. Fear of sanctions against Akpabio as a person. Fear of scrutiny by the US. Akpabio has long-standing corruption allegations in Nigeria, including EFCC investigations and unresolved corruption questions from his time as governor of Akwa Ibom State. This is public record. These are allegations. Yes, they're allegations. But they're persistent, they're documented, and they're politically dangerous for him in Washington, D.C. of today. You don't provoke Trump when your name could already be in the system as one of the names on the Magnitsky Act. You don't do that. Northern senators versus Akpabio. But northern senators, they don't share Akpabio's fear, so those ones are not afraid. Unlike Akpabio, they're not. The anger is not about diplomacy, it is about power. Some people believe that some of the corruption money some people have been alleged is not here. They are angry that Tinubu didn't stop the bombing. Those northern are angry that Tinubu did not condemn the bombing immediately, even though they did not condemn it themselves. Akpabio tried to bury debate on this. So they flipped the script on him these past few days, from silence to Senate outrage. From cowardice to confrontation. They are now comfortable. Now that they forced Tinubu to go to Turkey. Not because Trump did any bad thing to Nigeria, but because Northern authority felt challenged. The North felt the authority is challenged. Normally, the British royal family and the British government support them, but that support is weak today. The real conclusion, let me say this clearly, and Nigerians must hear it. Bola Tinubu does not rule Nigeria. This is my opinion. This is what I see. He does not rule Nigeria. He negotiates Nigeria. He navigates Nigeria. He survives Nigeria. Real power is elsewhere in entrenched northern religious political authority. In Senate blocks that decide when outrage is permitted. They decide. Akpabio feared Trump. Akpabio has a reputation as a political coward who bends to the wind and could switch allegiances at the drop of a hat. Public evidence exists. Akpabio is a weakling. Tinubu, on the other hand, actually fears destabilization. Tinubu don't want to be allowed to be president, I beg. Northern senators fear nothing. They fear nothing. And that tells you everything. They were initially scared, don't get me wrong. Right now, they're not scared. They're not. In Nigeria, courage has a timetable. As you can see, Senate bravery loads slowly, like NEPA light. Senate bravery loads slowly, like NEPA light. Sometimes it never even comes on, like NEPA light. Other times, it comes with generator noise and diesel smell. That's what you have. Generator noise and diesel smell from those hypocritic senators.
Hey, welcome, everybody. Oriyomi, you say what? As for me, I think ADC is not yet serious. By now, they should have known their candidate and be matching APC energy for energy. Same way Lai Mohammed was doing PDP and Jonathan then. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. Now, on this school plot, me, I don't know. This man said that he was one of the people that they wanted to target. This is what CDS Musa said. For those of us that were doubting the coup, we couldn't hear about ourselves.
So for me, it's not a composition. It's just idea knowing that he understands that what we are doing, we were sincere, we were deliberate about it, and wanted the best for our country. And I think that's what works with it.
You were also instrumental in helping save his life and some of those who would have been killed in that planned coup.
As always, I was also a target, I am sure you know.
You were supposed to be locked up.
Now, I was supposed to be arrested, and if I refused, I was supposed to be shot. But that's the job. And anybody who goes into coup, I mean, zeros his mind because you know you succeed good, you don't succeed, whatever consequences come, you're ready for it. But then again, I think these guys were just a bunch of very unserious individuals that really don't know. If you look at the caliber of the individuals, if you look at, I don't know what got into their heads to think that they could take on the armed forces like that. What I even said was even Nigerians will have fought them. Even without the armed forces, Nigerians will have stood against them. Remember, Nigerians have fought against the military rule for quite some time. And that's where Mr. President has always been one of them. So now for them to think they could just wake up one morning and do that in Nigeria, I think something went wrong in there. They need to reset their brains.
And you have said that they knew the consequences.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
Are you able to capture all of those who are said to have been involved?
So far, most of them have been caught. If there's anyone, maybe one or two, but most of the you know, and it just started from the colonel himself, who feels disgruntled because he was not promoted. He didn't meet the marks to be promoted. You know, the armed forces is really very strict about its promotions system. So he didn't make it. And so what he decided to do was to probably go around. Look at other people that had one issue or the other, not promoted or feel that they were not posted rightly and all these things, and they tried to bring them in. And my pain is all those young officers that didn't understand what was going on, that he had put in this mess, and now they have to face the consequences.
Okay, now, All right. For that lady that passed because there was no antivenom medication in the hospital, I just want to play this for anybody who might be listening.
I saw in the news where a young lady died of snake venom. She was bitten by a snake and she died. They didn't know what to do. Neem is a powerful antidote to venom, powerful herb that neutralizes venom from snake, scorpion, or any animal that has venom. You just chew some leaves from it immediately. Okay, it will neutralize the venom immediately. Okay, stopping it from causing damages, even death. Another herb that is potent is bitter leaf. It is everywhere in our houses. If you are bitten by any animal that has venom, bitter leaf, neem is a good one. Okay, we call this herb Costus afar. In Igbo, we call it obete. It is a powerful anti-poison. A powerful anti-poison, anti-venom. If you eat anything that you don't trust, chew it immediately. Okay, it looks like sugar cane. You just have to cut it like this, the way you eat your sugar cane, peel it the way you peel your sugar cane, and chew it immediately. It is anti-venom, anti-poison. Another powerful herb too is this one we call touch and die. Okay, the botanical name is Mimosa pudica. If you touch the leaf, it will pretend to be dead while it is not. After some minutes, it will come out fresh again. If you boil it and drink a tea from it, it's a powerful antidote to venom as well. So these herbs are potent. Do you know how many people that are bitten by snakes and scorpion and other poisonous animals every day? Do you know how many hunters we have, okay, that are bitten by snake every day? Do you see them in the hospital? No. Did they die? No. They have the antidote. There are a lot of herbs that can do that. These ones are the ones that are common. Neem is everywhere, even in the cities. Okay, if you are bitten by any animal that has venom, chew some neem leaf. It will neutralize it. If you have bitter leaf around you, it's another good one. If this one is one that is available around you, Costus afar, you take it. If it is this one as well, it's also a powerful anti-venom. Even if you want to go to hospital to fulfill all righteousness, okay, the person will not die. These are common herbs that even a newborn in our villages knows that it is anti-venom. Once they're bitten by any poisonous animal, they will chew it immediately. Bitter cola is another good one. That is why you see hunters, okay, always have bitter cola in their mouth in case they are bitten by snake or any other animal, okay, in the forest. If I tell you how many people that are bitten by snake every blessed day, the hunters, okay, and our people, some of them in the village, you won't believe it. They don't die of snake venom. They know what to do. The person can't die. Okay, it neutralizes the power of venom.
I just make I bring that one to now. I'm not a medical doctor, but those are some of the leaves I knew about when I was growing up. So it shocked me when I hear say this girl just spy like that. Meanwhile, Representative Riley talk say the US will hold Benue government accountable if terrorists attack Yelwata Christians again. Okay, missionary warns after commissioning houses for displaced faithful. All right, let's move forward. No time. Okay, una hear say anyway, me I don dey talk and see say they don surround all of una forest, so this is not new.
These people
But in case una don forget, because Nigerians, we are very strange people. We dey quick forget. So let's play it again.
They are going to bring, after buying enough weapons, they'll bring all those that have been in the Sahel, but driven away from Zamfara, Katsina, Zambisa forest, that they are all coming to locate themselves in Igbo land, that there's no security in Igbo land, that they will come there and then they will deal with us. And that the dumb man was just flippant. Maybe he took something. He said, "Do you know Ibadan, Lagos Expressway? We are in all the bush there. We're everywhere there. we're also in the south. So we are waiting for the slightest signal. We will finish you people and take over this land. So they claim that Nigeria belongs to Fulani. They said that is why we are afraid of, I've been talking about this open grazing and this Roga. They have a plan. They have a plan. And I accuse the soldiers who are non-Christians. Some of them are Fulani. They are part of it. Because they are shooting these men. When our people wanted to comb the bush, the soldiers said, if you move a step, we'll finish you. Don't go there. So they know where the boys are. They know the location. And what they do is in the daytime, they use their cow to confuse people. Then after some time, the cows will go to rest and they take their gun and do the operation of kidnapping. Government should act decisively. They should act decisively. Otherwise, what is happening in the northern part of the country will be a child's play to what will happen here. So government should sit up because the primary purpose of government is to secure life and property. Any government that has failed in that has failed woefully. And Nigeria is on a reverse gear. We are nosediving. We are nosediving. We don't have security. All the bush we went around, no soldier, no police, nothing. The people, were having a field there. And where they released us was, if they kidnap people along Isukwato, they will parade them round, and there, when they pay ransom, they are released from that particular spot. Those they arrest, they kidnap along Enugu Expressway, Log Banta, they bring them. Eventually, they bring them there to collect ransom. Those they kidnap along anywhere in the south, around the southwest. So they know that they are there. And I guess that when I said to the Oga, how do you collect this money? He said, don't worry. Once we are through with you, we will invite motorcyclists. They will come and there will be a truck. A truck will come to put the money in the truck. And that the people who paid them said that was exactly what happened. Immediately they came out from the bush. They told them they were monitoring whether there is police army. They go up. Okay, come back, come this way. And then eventually they stopped. A truck came without number. So the boys will carry one Ghana must go put in the truck until they took the 100,000 after they have counted 100 million.
When I hear, well, we already know this. I'm just bringing it here. So that you guys can be aware. Me, I don't know how we get out of this. I really don't know. Okay, let's take a listen to this.
Let's talk about Nigeria.
Security in Nigeria.
This was once Africa's largest economy. It had one of the strongest militaries on the continent. It had industries, real ones, exporting goods to the world. It had a public education system that shaped some of the brightest minds on the continent. Well, not anymore. Today, Nigeria is barely holding itself together. Schools are broken, hospitals are overwhelmed, the roads are unsafe, the army is losing control. It's like watching an elephant fall from a tree in slow motion, but the crash hasn't even happened yet. And the scariest part of that, the world isn't paying attention. These photos were taken from a recent attack in Nigeria's north-central region. A village burned to the ground. The government called it a communal clash. But that's not what this is. This is terrorism. This is mass displacement. This is a government that can't or won't protect its people. From school children kidnapped by the hundreds, to farmers abandoning their lands, to bus trips that end in roadside executions, this is the new reality in Nigeria. But here's the question that kept haunting me. How does a country with so much potential fall apart like this, and no one sounds the alarm? So I started digging, and what I found was quite chilling. This isn't just about bad leadership or poverty, not even about the usual corruption narrative now. It's something way deeper. It's systemic, and in some ways, this is by design. In this episode, we're going to break down how Nigeria became what might be the world's most advanced failed state, the rise of insurgents and bandits. This is a story you're not supposed to see and definitely not supposed to understand. But today, we'll try to make sense of it all. The first time I saw this footage, I thought it was from a war zone. Homes reduced to ashes, bodies burned beyond recognition, a woman sobbing over what was left of her house and her family. Some have even gotten so used to this that they have become numb from the pain. But this wasn't from Sudan or Somalia. This was Nigeria, and it happened just a few weeks ago. A group of armed men stormed this village, Yelawata, in Benue State in the dead of the night, and in a few hours, they killed more than 200 people. These weren't soldiers, they weren't policemen, they were bandits, loosely organized, yet heavily armed and somehow untouchable. The government called this a communal clash. But here's the thing, that phrase, communal clash, has become a government shortcut. A way to downplay something far more terrifying, that large parts of Nigeria are no longer under government control. From Zamfara to Borno to Kaduna and now down to the north central belt, entire regions are ruled by armed groups. And the question that kept coming up as I dug into this was quite simple. How did we get here?
If you want your girls, bring back our young.
Back in 2009, Boko Haram was the biggest name in terror. They were radical, violent, and wanted to create an Islamic caliphate in Nigeria's northeast. Under the ruthless leadership of Abubakar Shekau, the group gained global notoriety for massacres, suicide bombings, and high-profile abductions, notably the kidnapping of 276 schoolgirls from Chibok in 2014. By the mid-2010s, the group seized swaths of Borno State and declared a caliphate. Its terror had displaced over 2 million people in the northeast and directly killed an estimated 20 to 30,000 in Nigeria. The true human cost is far higher when including indirect deaths from conflict-driven hunger and disease. As of 2020, the decade-long insurgency had caused 350,000 total deaths, with over 90% of them young children, making it one of the world's deadliest conflicts, with millions needing access to aid. But what was the response to these insurgents? Well, the Nigerian government responded with military force, bombings, raids, checkpoints everywhere. But they never fixed the root problem: poverty, unemployment, and government neglect. Also, when the government of President Goodluck Jonathan made efforts to acquire weapons that would have helped in the fight against these terrorists that already declared their hatred for Western influence, guess what the Obama administration did? It refused. The United States refused to sell to Nigeria. And just so you don't think I'm making this up, here's a publication from the BBC saying, quote, Nigeria's ambassador to the US has criticized Washington for refusing to sell his government, quote, lethal weapons to fight militant Islamists, end of quote. This was from November 2014. The US government's refusal stems from a law that bans the sale of lethal weapons to countries whose military are accused of gross human rights abuses. However, this is not the sad part. That would be the fact that the US had a strong presence in Nigeria with their sophisticated military technology, yet they couldn't pinpoint the location of these terrorists and help Nigeria end the war on terror once and for all. The same US that tracked Osama bin Laden to his hideout and eliminated him could not prevent the expansion of the world's deadliest terror group operating from West Africa. Well, the Nigerian government made some progress somehow. However, while Boko Haram was being pushed out of these local communities, something else was growing in the shadows. By 2015, the conflict had shifted. The violence wasn't just ideological anymore, it became criminal, banditry, armed men kidnapping students, hijacking highways, extorting entire communities for ransom. And this wasn't just some ragtag group in the forest. These guys had AK-47s, drones, satellite phones, and in some cases, military-grade weapons. Yeah, take a look at these videos. Do these guys look like people that could afford the weapons they're wielding? Also, No one sells these weapons in the open market. Where were they getting them from? Some reports claim weapons were looted from the Nigerian army. Others were allegedly smuggled through Libya, Sudan, or Chad. But the big question everyone seems to ignore is, who is doing this smuggling? Who pays the smugglers? Who protects them? What happens at the border when these shipments make their way in? And here's another thing no one wants to say out loud. It seems parts of Nigeria are experiencing a low-grade civil war. It's not official, there is no declaration, but it is happening. Thousands of Nigerians have been killed by these non-state actors since 2011. More than 3.5 million people are internally displaced. Whole villages have vanished off the map. Entire highways have become no-go zones. Instead of fighting back effectively, the government seems paralyzed or worse, complicit in this insecurity. Despite a defense budget in the billions, frontline soldiers at times lack ammunition and even food due in part to procurement graft. Also, remember those weapons the US government refused selling to Goodluck Jonathan's administration? Well, after the Chibok girls' abduction in 2014 that the White House used to campaign against the sitting president of Nigeria in the 2015 general elections, the Americans finally approved the sale of 12 A-29 Super Tucano light attack planes to Nigeria in 2017. Yeah, sort of like medicine after death. But guess what? Even after those approvals, the first 6 weren't delivered until mid-2021, after Boko Haram had split into factions and were now scattered across the Sahel region. Mind you, the US were not giving these weapons to Nigeria for free. The first 6 light attack planes were delivered in a deal said to be worth $593 million. Yeah, I know Nigeria is not Ukraine, but come on. I thought we were friends. And while the Buhari's government continued to claim victory over insurgency, bandits were roaming freely in every part of the country. Ruthless attacks. Some arrested Boko Haram members were allegedly released back into the society. This was after men of the military died capturing them. Every time a massacre happens, the response is the same. Investigation has been launched. Perpetrators will be brought to justice. Remain calm, but justice never comes. In Nigeria's northwest and north-central region, what initially seemed as local disputes between nomadic Fulani herders and settled farmers over land and water has exploded into a full-blown jihad and land-grabbing operation by these Fulani herders. While the President Tinubu administration followed in the footsteps of the previous Buhari's regime to label these attacks as farmer-herder clashes, the truth is often darker. Take for instance, reports emerged some time ago about a farmer named Jackson who was working on his farm somewhere in the northern state of Adamawa when suddenly a suspected herder armed with a knife allegedly attempted to attack him. Jackson, acting in self-defense, managed to overpower the assailant, resulting in the herder's death. Despite this, an Adamawa High Court sentenced Jackson to death in 2021, a ruling that the Supreme Court of Nigeria upheld. The court ruled that Jackson had the opportunity to escape rather than stab his attacker, a decision that the Supreme Court upheld on March 7, 2025. So, when herders attack, farmers are supposed to escape and not try to defend themselves, because in doing so, the farmers will get death sentences. Now, we have herders in large numbers, alleged to be on motorbikes, armed with machetes and AK-47 rifles, attacking farming communities in the dead of the night to slaughter unarmed men, women, and children. Yet, the government called this a communal clash. The question here is, where is the justice? Well, people have stopped waiting. In some communities, civilians are now forming their own armed militias. They are tired of waiting for the military. They don't trust the police anymore. So now it's neighbor versus invader with no rules, no mercy, and no end in sight. What is happening here is more than a security failure. It is a slow motion breakdown of the state's monopoly on violence. And when a government can no longer protect its people, it ceases to function as a government. But What if this insecurity isn't just about weapons and bandits? What if this collapse was helped along by forces far beyond Nigeria's borders?
Guys, I'm telling you, I don't know. As Nigerians, APC is busy forcing APC is busy forcing people to register as APC. For Imo State, if you don't pay, I mean, if you don't fill out the forms that has been given to them, you're not gonna get paid in Enugu. Civil servants in Enugu are being forced to. Also in Imo State, we don't know where else. I can tell you for free, this is happening it's happening in every community and every local government area. So my question, I guess, to everyone who's saying Peter Obi, all of us that are saying Peter Obi or nothing, what are we doing to combat that? What is ADC doing? Are they aware? I see that they put out a statement saying that, responding to the fact that they are forcing the civil servants, the teachers in Enugu to fill out forms and give out details of their NIN and their PVC. Is this how APC wants to rig the election? This is what ADC needs to be all over right now. This is what they need to be all over. Instead of trying to push one narrative or the other and trying to, I heard what's his name? I think is it the chairman of the ADC party? I think it's Mr. Omoye. I don't know. More than enough verse if I not mention the guy name correctly. But if anybody know his full name, more than put am for comment section. The guy came on Space yesterday and people were asking him direct questions. He no even fit answer. I don't understand. There's a lot that is covered up in secrecy. What is going on? Anyway, now Peter Obi na we dey look, not be ADC. As for me, this is why I'm reluctant to join any of these their parties in Nigeria, because it doesn't make any sense. You join a party, they don't even know what they're doing. You ask them direct questions, they cannot answer you. I get it, maybe on one hand, I get it in one hand that, okay, maybe they don't want to say anything just because APC is listening and they are looking for ways to sabotage them. I get it on one hand. But this delay is too much. A lot of people are waiting. We are waiting to see what's the way forward. You can't just keep people in limbo. Election. Look, APC, Tinubu can turn around tomorrow and say election is tomorrow. He has the power to do it. And he has the zombies in the National Assembly that will sign off on it. They've been sitting on the electoral reforms. And I read an interesting tweet by someone yesterday that said, it's not even the electoral reforms. It's not what I think it was. No, it wasn't. It was what's his name? Falls's dad. What's this man's name again? Oh my God, I can't remember his name. But if you guys remember, now money we see there. My brain never fully clock. See, I dey awake. So the man came out and said it's not the electoral reform that's the issue. What the issue is, right, is are they going to abide by the rules? Whether we do electoral reform, when they don't do the electoral reform finish, people go abide by the rules of the electoral reform. That na the main cocoa. And I agree with him. Because people don't already argue and for years say our electoral reforms are intact, they are okay. There's no reform that is needed. What is needed is for people with integrity to stand and say, no, we're not going to allow this. Do you understand? So I agree. So my question be say, what is ADC? How are they preparing for that? That's the cocoa of the matter. How are they preparing to ensure that their election, because they're already registering people, what is ADC doing? What are they doing about that? It's not just to come and tweet on Twitter. It is writing and saying, hey, You know, it's about being on the ground and resisting. ADC, they were trying to register in Alimosho. They use Agberos to pursue them everywhere. They were looking for where to go, and they finally found a place that they were able to use. Please make it make sense. All these people that are going to register, I don't understand it. If you're going to register, you're not supposed to also prepare for all this, because this has been happening. Who was it? Was it not Gbadebo that was trying to go somewhere to go and welcome some new members or decamp to ADC? And Agberos came and scattered everywhere. The same group of people again. You want to go and do mobilization. You forget that you are dealing with criminals. I don't understand it. Are you not supposed to be ready? The people they are using against you, are they not part of your citizens in that Lagos? Those people don't know their papa and their mama. They don't know their siblings. They don't know their family members. Some of them, they don't know where they stay, because I don't understand. Now like this, una go just fold hand now. Now so APC go come again, bamboozle now, use thuggery, use every violence. I don't know how you people are going to get out of this. So if you're playing nice, you are playing nice. I don't know when your niceness is going to expire. You are trying to be gentlemanly with a clear demon that is saying, look, I want to take your life. I don't understand. There's no resistance. You people will go, you try to decamp, you try to do anything, they come and sabotage it. Every single time is the same thing they're doing. And you guys are not still ready for that? I don't understand. If the table was on the other leg, if it was another party that was in power, you think APC will be allowing all of this? It would have been fire for fire, but you people are not seeing it. You are still playing nice with people that are out to destroy you. How is that going to work? Did you also hear that your government house is owing South Africa money for electricity bill? Your Nigerian house not pay electricity bill. They owe almost billions. The woman had to put it out on Twitter. They can't shame. Tail behind their leg, run, can't go pay for the bill. The woman can't come out, can't talk, say, thank you, Nigeria house has now paid for their bill. As they owe for house, now so that they owe overseas. And they go say, make una not demarket the country, but now they be the greatest demarketers of the country. I don't know what is happening. We sit at home in Anambra State. Everywhere for the market empty. Nobody show up. Nobody show up for markets. Whether not, I don't know. I think they say Soludo say if they threaten, say he won't demolish the market if they continue their Monday sit at home. They defy them. They say, oh yeah, Soludo, do your worst. They not show up. This is the attitude that every Nigerian ought to be taking right now. Look at the houses they are destroying in Lagos. All people do is come out, cry. I mean, what is your tears going to do? Now say una one time, una not ready to fight back this madness when this man won't bring on top of una head. ADC is supposed to have capitalized on this storm. I'm telling you, I don't understand what these people are doing. It's really beginning to piss me off and annoy me. You have every opportunity. Trump is giving you people opportunity. You are not even taking it. Una just they take slap all over the place. You are continuing to turn this right eye, turn the right side. I don't understand. You are dealing with clear demons that are out to destroy you. And they have told you, not only have they announced it, they're telling you to your face, and you're still playing nice. You're still playing nice with them. There's no way you're going to win by playing nice with these people. You can't. People are trying to decamp, they won't allow it. People are trying, they go and look for ways, they send their boys to go and scatter the place. All those boys that are scattering the place, don't they have family members? Don't they have houses? Don't they have addresses? Meanwhile, a stranger, you will be so Oyibo. It's Oyibo that is rebuilding your community in Yewata now. I don't see any Pan-Africanist jumping and say, no, we got it. I know they see you now. All you Pan-Africanists, I know they see you now. Una supposed dey your water right now, all of una, all you Pan-Africanists. You are supposed to be on ground. You are the ones that are supposed to be rebuilding. But no, you are Pan-Africanists from a distance. What a shame. Mona, listen to this video.
Not tell you. The English Alhaji will tell you. So many things that the federal government of bandit media will not tell you. English Alhaji will tell you. You know the story. If they hide them, Alhaji, they bring them out. Are they active? The Nigerian army will not tell you this. The federal government of bandit media will not tell you, but I will tell you. Yesterday, being the 26th of January 2026, ISWAP attacked Nigerian army. They attacked our soldiers. And we lost our soldiers yesterday. Some of them were injured. They will not tell you this. The Nigerian army will just want to cover it. As if to say that our soldiers that are dying are not, like, you don't understand? These are our brothers. These are our friends. These are our cousins. These are our family members. But they just want to cover it. And the next thing they will be coming to show you victories and victory. What about the losses? None of the people children they buy so. They just released statement today. ISWAP. They released statement today that they attacked Nigeria army yesterday, being the 26th of January 2026. According to ISWAP, they say they conducted an IED attack on a Nigerian army vehicle in Sabongeri and Mandam Ragirao in Borno State. According to them, they were able, like, so many soldiers were injured, and they buy so many Nigerian army. So many of our military were killed yesterday, really 26th. The Nigerian army will be wondering how this guy got to know. We they follow them. Guys, pray for Nigerian military. The ones, you see those ones waiting for war front, pray for them. They need your prayer. They need our support. Forget those ones in the office. Those corrupt ones in the, pray for those ones in the war front, giving their life for this country. Nigerian army buy every day like chicken. If you don't know, they buy like chicken every day in the hand of these people. If they pay me, say Nigerian army, a Nigerian army salary, a salary for Nigerian cannot even afford 2 bags of rice. But yes, they see. If I don't tell you this, you not gonna know. If I don't tell you that these guys walk like a Jackie and eat like ant, you will not know. But it is the truth. Some of them in the war front, there no water, no food, nothing. The others in the office, now them they enjoy buying land, buying properties here and there. And our brothers in the war front keep dying. These guys die for penny. It's not for the money. Some of them join this military not for money. Not for the money. How much is the salary? They join this military not for money, but for passion. Like the passion to defend their fatherland. Not for the. How much is salary, bro? 100 and something thousand. How much is that in Nigeria today? They join it for passion to defend the fatherland, to serve their fatherland. But the fatherland do not care about them. The fatherland not send their papa. Go ask, tell them something talking. ISWAP by our soldiers yesterday, and the whole media is quiet, as if to say no be human being buy. Go ask them. Confirm it if I'm lying. Tell them to confirm it. Nigerians, you know the story. If they hide it, I'll bring it out.
Anyway, when I don't hear them, not be today, they don't start to buy the soldiers. They know they do anything about them. No matter the number of soldiers when they buy, they not care. They not care. Do you understand? Okay. Oh.
So Alex, you're on the ground and you're saying this isn't slowing down. If anything, it actually is ramping up. What do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the truth. I mean, just a few days ago in Kaduna, they kidnapped around 150 Christian students. I mean, every day that I'm here, I'm getting texts and messages of attacks in Plateau, attacks in Benue, attacks in Katsina, attacks in Taraba, Adamawa, literally all the time. I mean, even when I was on my way to this Jatawaka place in Kwande, people were just killed. I mean, even when we were literally in that village, there were actually Fulani people who were burning the grass around some homes that were desolate, not too far from us. You could see the smoke rising, and nobody's living there. It's the Fulani people. And so nothing is really changing. You know, the reality is one bomb in the Northwest is not going to do anything. Because the reality is that the actual official terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and ISWAP, they are not the primary perpetrators, not the primary people who are killing Christians. It's the Fulani terrorists, the Fulani militias. They're the ones all across Nigeria, from the south to the north, from the west to the east. They're the ones who are primarily massacring, burning, and literally cutting people in pieces. It's not the actual official terrorist groups. Yes, they are killing both Christians and Muslims in Borno State, some in Adamawa, Taraba, Yobe, in Sokoto. And so they are killing, they are burning, they're doing these things. But those are more so limited to that specific state and even just portion of that state. It's not necessarily widespread. The widespread is the Fulani terrorists and militias that are killing Christians en masse. That is the truth. And I plead with the U.S. government, I plead with international communities to recognize that. It's the Fulani terrorists that are across these communities, across Nigeria. That's the truth.
Not that we don't know. Every day we keep finding out new things about this. Every single day we keep finding out.
Who have not yet activated. I say Nigeria is a country of more than 300 million activists who have not yet activated. 2027 give us opportunity to reset Nigeria. Make nobody put you under panic, say, oh, everybody they go here, everybody they defect to this party. Now panic mode, night they day. Any government where you see continue to do like that, it is up to people to say the power of the people must be greater than the criminals in power. By 2027, you see me wear shirts and they shout electoral reform, vote must count.
I'm telling you, Natu, welcome.
Every good law is as good as people will go implement them. If now by law, I say Nigeria is a country of more than 300 million activists who have not yet activated.
This is Peter Aka. He went to Brekete family, so he went to speak. If you want to catch the full video of it, you can go check it out on Human Rights Radio or Brekete family on YouTube. Okay, listen to Alex again. No.
At first, I didn't respond to what happened in Yawara. I knew what had happened.
Let me switch it so you guys can see the video.
How many homes were burned? It was above what I could handle. I didn't have the funds to rebuild almost 100 homes and then also shops in all these different places. I didn't have the money. And there's a lot of media coverage. Immediately, people from all over are talking about Yawara. How many people were killed, what happened, all these things. And I said, you know what? Because people are hearing, the government will help. The UN, they're going to help. The other NGOs and organizations doing work in Nigeria, they will help. And so I said, you know what? I'll take a step back. This is too big for me. I want to, but I can't. But people will help. And 5 or 6 months later, I said, you know what? I felt an urge in my heart to look into what happened in Yawara. Have people help? Has the government stepped up? Have the organizations come here to help rebuild? I started talking to people on the ground. Nothing. No hope. No initiative to rebuild. No initiative to get people to come back to their land. And I said, how can this be? This can't be right. And so I said, you know what? I will go. I don't know the extent of the damage. I don't know how much money it's going to cost. I don't know what I can do. But I said, I'm going to begin in faith. Even if it's one house that I build, I'm going to build it. It will begin. And so I came. And I find that people are neglected. People do not care. They don't truly want to have significant impact in these places. And I found people that were suffering. Thousands of people in IDPs. From Yawara specifically. And they have no food, no water. They poop in front of each other on the street. And meanwhile, their homes are burned. Their farms destroyed. Their land here looked like nobody had lived here in hundreds of years. And I said, how can this be? This was a few months ago. And why are people not crying out to help the Nigerians? The ones who are suffering and afflicted. They're not being killed because they're criminals. They're not being massacred because they've done things wrong. They're being massacred in innocence. Their blood is being poured out. Their throats are being cut. Their babies are being burned to charcoal. And their homes are completely destroyed. Their villages are gone. Desolate. How can someone else from another country come here and care more about your own people? and you're the one that's supposed to shepherd your flock. You know, we can't hold the government to be fully liable to take care of his people. But we can hold the church, because the church has a covenant with God. We can't forget what is happening, because it's even worse.
So Alex, you're on the ground and you're saying this isn't slowing down. If anything, it actually is ramping up. What do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the truth. I mean, just a few days ago in Kaduna, they kidnapped around 150 Christian students. I mean, every day that I'm here, I'm getting texts and messages of attacks in Plateau, attacks in Benue, attacks in Katsina, attacks in Taraba, Adamawa, literally all the time. I mean, even when I was on my way to this Jatawaka place in Kwande, people were just killed. I mean, even when we were literally in that village, there were actually Fulani people who were burning the grass around some homes that were desolate, not too far from us. You could see the smoke rising, and nobody's living there. It's the Fulani people. And so nothing is really changing. You know, the reality is one bomb in the Northwest is not going to do anything. Because the reality is that the actual official terrorist groups, such as Boko Haram and ISWAP, they are not the primary perpetrators, not the primary people who are killing Christians. It's the Fulani terrorists, the Fulani militias. They're the ones all across Nigeria, from the south to the north, from the west to the east. They're the ones who are primarily massacring, burning, and literally cutting people in pieces. It's not the actual official terrorist groups. Yes, they are killing both Christians and Muslims in Borno State, some in Adamawa, Taraba, Yobe, in Sokoto. And so they are killing, they are burning, they're doing these things. But those are more so limited to that specific state and even just portion of that state. It's not necessarily widespread. The widespread is the Fulani terrorists and militias that are killing Christians. That is the truth. And I plead with the U.S. government, I plead with international communities to recognize that. It's the Fulani terrorists that are across these communities, across Nigeria. That's the truth.
Okay, you're hearing it again a second time.
And this man labeled all of us. You know, I hear that there's a man of God that was to come to Akwa Ibom for a crusade, and Akwa Ibom rejected him.
No, never mind. That's not the one I'm looking for. There was one video. Mona, listen to this man. Remember this man, they support, he said that Mona not touch terrorists.
You cannot overtax your citizens to a level that they cannot pay. You've removed subsidy, you've made them poorer. You floated the naira, you've devalued the currency. People are poorer. Why are you taxing them? What you need to do is broaden the tax base instead of overtaxing citizens. Number one. Number two, people will say, oh, those that are against this tax bill, they haven't even read the tax bill. Hello. It is not the responsibility of citizens to go and read. It is the responsibility of the executive, the government, that is going to bring any policy to people to come and criticize and explain to them and get their approval. You cannot just pay hired consultants. They go into their room, bring out an encyclopedia of this is how we want to do the tax, and throw it to the National Assembly and rush it. I tell you, 99% of the members of the Senate, of all the National Assembly members, have not read the bill. Nobody has time to read this bill. So essentially, all this brouhaha you've seen, I took time to read it because I talk all over the place. Some of it is good, but hello. The biggest problem is that there is loss of trust. Nigerians don't trust this government. The last time you did, Mr. President, you flippantly removed fuel subsidy. You flippantly floated the naira and said tomorrow will be better. Our people are dying. Tomorrow is not better. Yesterday was better than today or tomorrow. People don't trust this government. Number one. Number two. Number two is that this government, in spite of its over-bloated media team of about 13 advisors, they are not connecting with the people. They are not. They think they will stay in Abuja and talk all the big grammar in $1,000 suits and think people will listen to them. They are not connecting with the people. And you could see that in the NSA's speech the other day, the 13th of November, his Tinubu Gain speech. You could clearly see his frustration that the government is not connecting with the people. That was why he was saying, critics, we will shut you up. We want to be shut up with facts, with benefits for our people, not propaganda. So, the government is not connecting with the people. The government has not explained this to the people. Members of the National Assembly do not even understand the bill themselves. And look at the clumsy way it was presented at the Senate the other day. Look at the clumsy way it was presented. Akpabio think he's going to be clever by half. Recused himself and put his deputy Senate president, who is from the north. Oh yeah, fight your people.
Hey, this tax, I'm waiting to see what effect it will have on Nigerians. You know, say Nigerians, we dey sabi take any crap when they throw at us. We dey sabi, it's our specialty. We've not gotten to a point where we decide, we say categorically we cannot deal anymore. Enough is enough. No, because now my tribe man dey there, enough is not enough. That's the problem we have in Nigeria. Me, I don't talk my own. Make this country will go divide and last. The way it is going, it is even getting more and more obvious. More and more. You know, say they write history for secondary school, remove Igbo history. They remove anything about Igbo people for inside that history book. Do you know that? We go divide the country last. Since our leaders have decided to become animals, right? And evil to the core. This evil now go kukuma catapult the whole thing. So we are here for it. We will all see everything play out. Because people who speak the truth, they are hated. The ones that tell lies, the ones that gaslight, the ones that are there telling you, they are pissing on you and they are telling you it's raining, neither they listen to. You saw when CDS Musa come, he say he go support APC. They're not born and well not to support APC. Because if he don't say no go support, they go remove him. Everybody is under chokehold. Those who are supporting APC are supporting for selfish reasons. Even the people that are supporting Atiku for selfish reasons, everybody dey look for wetin they want put for their pocket. Let's continue like this. Nigeria will self-destruct. We will all be here. You will all be televised. It's kukuma on social media every day. Nigeria. Only Nigerians are owing South Africa money. If to say they not come out for social media, maybe they for not pay. Your government just paid their utility bill to South Africa. They just paid it. What's more embarrassing than that? You have a president that goes and is falling all over the place. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't even know where he is. Every time he needs to, he get babysitters. He's traveling, babysitters will go and line up. He's coming back, babysitters will line up and welcome him. What manner of society is that? What manner of society is that? Anyway, to ADC people, it's not time to play nice. This is not the time for niceties. No. These people are telling you in your face they want to unalive you. In your face, we want to unalive you and take your land. And you people are still playing nice. Every time you try to do something, they flood the place with their thugs. And do the same thing over and over. Is there something wrong with you people? Is there something wrong? I don't understand it. You cannot keep turning the side cheek. No. What is wrong with you people? Una never ready to take back this country. Oh. Hey, God. It be like so una no know wetin don hit una. This man is already forcing people. Do you know how many communities that is happening in? They have a target in every state and in every community as to the number of people they want to register. So that when they want to rig, they will just use those numbers and tally up. Oh, I go leave am for here. Okay? I will leave it here. We will all learn. We will all learn. Shey we shall dey talk our own, sha? We will all learn now. So we'll see how it all plays out. Whether APC, whether NDC will continue in the trajectory and start and continue to allow APC to bamboozle people and be using thugs. Meanwhile, thugs get family. Then una know their address. Una know where to go find them. Just use a few for example. No. So, now here we dey. Oriyomi, thank you very much. Life with Natu. Thank you. I appreciate you all. I go see you now on my next one. Bye.